Hi, everyone. Welcome to Radiant Living, Inspiring Humanity to Thrive. I'm Marisa B, and today I'm so thrilled to have Princess Wow with us, aka Mindy Fradkin. Hi, Princess Wow. How are you?
Hi, great. How are you?
Wonderful. Thank you for joining us. I'm having you on today because I absolutely love the idea of the Smile Revolution, and I would love for you to tell my audience a little bit about it. I know that you were a photographer, hat designer. I know also that you're a performer, singer, and I'd like you to explain a little bit about how all this started and what exactly the Smile Revolution is.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Okay, so I still am a hat designer, but I don't do it full time. I used to do it full time. And I do these shows called Hat Happenings too. And I'm actually getting back into them now that the pandemic is seems to be not here too much. We can do it. I can do this interactive performance I've done for years. Well, anyway, okay, so I'm a woman of many hats, is really what it is. And I started the Smile Revolution in 2005. The last time I saw my dead conscious, he gave me a big grin, and that smile changed my life for the better. We had a very difficult relationship, and but we had a lot of healings over the years, but it was not an easy relationship at all. But the last 2 weeks of his life, I was in the hospital with him in Florida, and just by his side. I had to cancel everything. And I went down to visit, and he was like, we had to take him to the emergency room like the third day. So I ended up not being able to leave. And so when I was on my way back to New York and to do some hat happening shows and for a film and bar mitzvahs. I was like making hats for bar mitzvahs and stuff at the time. He gave me this big grin. And then a week later he passed on. But it was like after I went back to New York, and I was being interviewed for this show I was doing for this film, independent film. And out of my mouth came, we need a smile revolution in the world. It was just like this inspired thought. And I was like, that's a great idea. And then I went back down to Florida the next week, and then he was in a coma. And then that year, it was like, I would say it was one of the hardest years of my life. I almost didn't make it. And I was not really too functional. It was a lot of different issues with my family, plus his passing. And so I was on the radio a lot that year in Woodstock. And what happened was it was like Christmas week, 2005. All of a sudden, this thought came to me on the air. Well, the Christmas week, it was like, this thought came again. It's time to start the Smile Revolution. And it was another just like inspired thought. And then I was on the radio, and I announced it on the air, and my whole life changed for the better, because I went from being very self-involved to how can I help the world smile more. And I was already wearing a lot of colors and, wearing a lot of outrageous outfits. And that's how I got the name Princess Wow. I was making hats. I started making hats, let's see, in the early, let's say 89, 90.
Well, the hats are exquisite. I mean, they really are.
Thanks. Well, I'm an artist.
Hat designer. They're exquisite.
Thanks. Well, I'm an artist who makes hats. I mean, they're very original and pieces of art, but look good on too. Mm-hmm. So what happened was, I was a wardrobe, because my background is so varied. My background's photography, as you said. Then I got into wardrobe. I got into fashion photography in school, and then I moved to New York. I was in LA. I was living in Los Angeles, and I moved to New York, which I always loved when I was growing up. I used to come to New York with my dad. Used to shop at Barney's in New York. I used to come to New York growing up from Baltimore. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. And I had friends in New York. So anyway, I've always had this thing about New York. And so anyway, I moved to New York, and then I started doing wardrobe styling, and I was working with designers. So that's what led me to designing, because I was working with hat designers. I loved putting hats on models and actors. It always finished the look of the photo or the film, whatever I was working on. So anyway, so one day I was for my styling career, this fashion designer I was working with said, you need to do something special for a promo. And so I had a dream about a hat. and I had like streamers on my deck, and I had a cocktail hat. I never sewed a day in my life, and I just stitched this hat together for this photo, and I got obsessed with. I had to. It was like this amazing picture, and the hat and everything. And so with the professional photographer who I was working with and makeup artist. And so anyway, so that's how what led me to get into making hats. And then when I was doing this film in Pittsburgh one summer, I was making everybody laugh my whole life. Okay. So it was like on the set of this film, this actor, a friend of mine who's on Broadway, kept saying, you need to be in front of the camera, not behind the camera. You could be the next comedy sensation. He's like, every day he kept saying, all you do is like, I was just out talking normally, and I was making everybody laugh on set. So, and then the special effects guy said, there needs to be Mindy dolls. I don't know. He just thought I was such a character. So anyway, so then, that's what led me to take stand-up I was like, then I took a comedy class after the film, and I started doing stand-up comedy, but then I became obsessed with making hats. And so it's just my career has always been very varied.
Mhm.
And here's one of my dolls.
Oh, and I love the dolls. I love them. They're like mini yous.
They are. Well, they're from photos of
Mini
me.
Princess Wows, right? Yes.
Yeah, well, they are from photos of me. So anyway, this is my first doll. I don't make them, but a doll maker makes them. And so anyway, this is from a pink wig. I've worn a lot of wigs, and anyway, so
Well, because of course you entertain adults and children. You perform.
I've done many children's shows over the years. I haven't recently, but I have. And so you can tell I'm very whimsical and I'm very, I don't know, kids like me, and they like the name Princess Well. And I never had kids, so I'm only cats, like people, anyway.
And,
so
and of course, well, it's so colorful, and the colors. So
my color. So I'm known for my color.
Isn't there a group?
Yeah. So
color?
Color Wall. Yeah. Like, you and I are both Anglophiles, right? So I was just in London performing my new show, Woodstock or Bust, How a Hat Designer Started a Revolution. So I previewed it in London.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm part of this color walk crowd in London. It's we're all artists, mm-hmm. and they're all colorful like me. And so it's every third Thursday in Old Spitalfields.
I was going to say they have a market, correct? A market where they all
East London.
Yes.
Yeah, East London. And so it's every third Thursday of every month at 1:00. We all meet. Well, I do it virtually, but I did it for the first time in person in April this year. And it was the thrill of my life. One of the best weeks of my entire life. And being a color walk with Sue Kreitzman, she's been on my show. She's a dear friend, and she's.
And I saw that interview, and she's fascinating. And her
she's fascinating.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, she's from New York. She's from Washington Heights. Yeah. And she was by country, her and her husband, for 40 years, and now they're full time in London. And well, he's in Cambridge and she's in London. Mm-hmm. They're back and forth. Anyway, so the thing is that, so they're just like I feel like they're my color family in London.
Yes.
And then I did my show there too, and they were very supportive and everything. So
and you did a virtual show too, correct? There was a virtual show that was done at one of the theaters in England.
No, that wasn't. No, I didn't do a virtual show, but I do, an interview show. I have my own interview show, so I do.
That I know you do.
Yeah, you know that, but on YouTube and Facebook, my Princess Well Network, right? So no, I've done a virtual show. I did a virtual show during the pandemic for the Ludlow Fringe Festival.
Yes, the Ludlow Fringe. Yes.
Yeah, so I did that 2 years ago or three in the pandemic when you couldn't do a live show.
Right.
I did that.
And that's how your program actually came back into existence, because, right, you were on the radio years ago with this Smile
Revolution. I had a Smile Revolution radio show in Kingston, New York, on Kingston Radio. And I interviewed, Pete Seeger, Richie Havens, Arla Guthrie. I had David Amram, Tom Pacheco. Yeah. So I got into the whole music world because I was married to Roland Musa, who was who's an amazing musician. And I met him in Woodstock, and I was determined to marry a musician.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny because that's how I first was introduced to you. And you had me at the Wasbin, and
The
my
husband. It's
the
my husband.
husband, and
Yes.
lovingly, but the husband, I just had to.
Yeah.
I was
Well,
just-
because it means you're still in good terms.
yes, yeah,
I don't say he's my ex.
right, and it's
Right.
just
Because we're still good friends, and we still write songs together, and we're
and I
still,
think you had him on. You didn't you have him on your show? Yes, I think you had him
yeah.
on your show as
Oh,
well.
yeah, he's been on my show several. Oh, yeah, definitely. Oh, yeah. No, he's an amazing guy. He's historical. He anyway. Richie Havens told me that in the '70s in the Village, he was like a main. He was very
Yes,
well known. He was hanging out with Dylan
yeah.
and
During the
Columbia.
time of the music that was going on in Greenwich Village at the time. Yes,
Yeah,
right. They were all.
yeah, they were all together. Everybody, and the thing is that he was a draft dodger, but Columbia did do a demo of his music. I mean, he's extremely gifted. I mean, he's been compared to Woody Guthrie as a songwriter, and Pete Seeger took him under his wing because he's such a great songwriter and singer, and plus a wonderful person. And he was a draft dodger, so he needed help. So anyway, he's a very special person. Anyway, so we worked it out, even though we're not married anymore. So we're still, in each other's lives and stuff. So that's really good. And we've written all these, we've written smile songs together for the Smile Revolution.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So
Yes,
that's
and then
like,
of course, right, because your really logo is about raising awareness with you
the
have.
mission is, we raise awareness. Yeah. It's raising awareness to the healing power of a genuine smile.
Yes.
And it's like, I grew up not smiling very much because I had a very difficult emotional child. It was like difficult in a lot of ways emotionally. And it's a long story. So my new show is really autobiographical.
Mhm.
Yeah. And part musical and, musical interludes. And I play the ukulele, and I probably will be playing guitar too, hopefully by November. I'll
I
be
actually heard one of the song, which I thought was so
beige.
apropos, the beige song. Yes,
The beige song. John Cruth, he was a genius. He's a amazing singer-songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, and interviewed him on my show recently. I meet all these amazing people through my show, and he's wrote the song Beige. I interviewed him about his new book about Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. Yeah, and I found the song Beige, and I had to send it to Sue Kreitzman in London. And she said, oh, it's just because he's very funny. He could have been a stand-up comic. Well, he really is. I mean, he's like comedy in his writing and music. So the song is so great. So it's part of my new show.
Yeah, I heard it. I thought it was great.
It's it's an amazing song. It's so funny.
And so,
Yeah.
And so now you're going around doing your show because you're performing. You're doing your
Well,
show.
I'm mostly doing my online interview show, and I'm also going to be doing my premiere of my new show in November in the city at Pangea.
Oh, wonderful.
November. No, I think it's November 9th. It's a Thursday night. So yeah, I'm going to be premiering it in the city.
Oh, I would love to put all that in the comments so people can know where they can get tickets and things like that.
Well, I have to sign the contract. The contract is going to be signing it hopefully in the next week, but we've already firmed up the date. I was going to do it earlier, but I'm going to London in September, and the dates aren't working out. He's already booked up pretty much in October. So, and I want to do it up in the Hudson Valley too. I have to figure out where and when.
That's what I was actually going to ask you, where you're going to be around other areas of New York with the show.
I'm going to. I just have to figure. I'm still developing it and working on my music. And I'm now John Cruth I'm making him a hat, and we're doing guitar ukulele lessons. So I'm still working to developing the music more too. And I'm working with my director in LA. But I'll figure it out. I'll let you know when I get it.
Oh, definitely.
And I'm doing it up here.
How did it go in London? It
was great. Now it was great. I got Sue Kreitzman gave me a great review. And mostly it was my color walk friends and some other people. Yeah. But it was, it was just for me, it was like I hadn't been overseas in decades. It was like just getting overseas and getting over the fear of flying over the ocean and, not flying for years. And then just developing and doing my new show. It was a big feat.
Oh, I would assume so. And
it was amazing. And it happened really fast where I found the theater, and
yes,
it was a lot.
A few little sneak pictures from the group from Spitalfield, because you
Yeah.
had some of them in some of your photographs. So I
Yeah,
did see
people
it.
really enjoyed the
Yeah.
photos from London. Yeah. So anyway, I just love London so much. It's just
Oh, I
so,
do too. And I would think that the vibrant colors are just spectacular, especially for the stage.
yeah. And just running around East London, it's like there are a lot of artists, and it's just, that's where I stay, is in East London. And it's just, I just love the vibe over. I love New York, but I've been here a long time. It's like London has a different vibe, as you know. It
Oh, of
just,
course,
it
yes.
has this, and it's very inclusive. Like everybody, wherever I went, everybody was like so helpful. And I'm not saying New York isn't. It's just that it's just a different vibe there
Right, right.
that I really love so much.
And of course, well, and you're taking your show on the road, so then that's wonderful that it's out there, that people get to see it. And I'm hoping that you can do it in the Hudson Valley too.
No, I'm going, I
Other
will. It's just a
places as
matter of,
well.
yeah, no, I'm going to do it in the Hudson Valley. It's just a matter of, yeah, I will. I'll let you know when I firm up something.
And how do you find it, because of the concept of spreading awareness of a smile? Because I think that one of your interviews, I heard you say a quote from I think it was Mother Teresa,
Oh
quote,
yeah, that's my here. That's
peace
my favorite
begins,
quote.
right? That like
Peace
peace
begins
begins
with
with
a
a smile,
smile.
right?
That's
And
like one of my favorite quotes.
yeah, and it's, I mean, and it's a beautiful quote, because it's true.
It's true.
It really doesn't cost anything to smile, and you don't know
No,
how the other person who sees that smile, how it greets them that day, what it gives them that day, because you
it
don't
can save your life. It can save someone's life.
exactly.
I mean, it's so simple, but that's what's so cool about what I'm doing. It's like some people, a lot of people, some people don't get what I'm doing, and they're like, "Oh, she's talking about smiling," or like, because there's a lot of cynicism in our world.
Mhm.
But it's like the point. It's a very spiritual idea.
Oh,
That,
absolutely.
it's like it's just simple. It's simple and powerful, but there's many, like the Dalai Lama said, there's 16 kinds of smiles. Because I used to have a blog for years, so I did all this research about joy and smiling. And the thing is that there's a lot of fake smiles out there, but we're only obviously talking about ones that are sincere, back with love. And when you smile at somebody, like somebody actually one day years ago, I remember I was really depressed, and this woman just walked by me with a big smile. And, it changed my day. Like it just uplifted me so much, just seeing her smile. And it's like, it is about giving and receiving smiles, because I'm actually still learning how to smile more. I don't smile. Some people I know smile all the time, like their whole life. But it's like a project, I guess, was given to me because I need to learn how to smile more. But the thing is that it is just makes people happy when you see somebody have a beautiful smile.
Yeah. And I'm not a smiler either. And so for me, it's a conscious effort to smile,
Right.
especially to strangers. And the reason that it so resonated with me, your show, your message. Recently I was doing some research for a talk that I have to do. And I discovered, even though I'm a psychologist and I'm involved in therapy work, this research that said that we have something like 10,000 to 60,000 thoughts each
Right.
day, and almost 80% of those thoughts are negative thoughts.
Right.
And when I heard that, I was in shock. And that's one of
Yeah.
the scientific journals that was given this statistic. And I'm thinking to myself, this is terrible. That's a lot of negativity
Yeah.
that we have in our heads. And
Right.
so hearing your message and then spreading just a smile to someone, and how that interacts really with a stranger and can actually save their life, change their mood, change their day. That's so much more important than we realize.
Right, exactly. That's why I felt led to start this whole project. It's been 18 years, and
Yeah.
I've done so many things with it. I have a whole album of smile songs that Laura Molitor, a dear friend, she wrote a song, contributed. It's called Smile With Me. And then another friend, Ingrid Helt, she wrote a smile song. And then Roland and I wrote 4 songs. And then there's a cover song. It's a famous song from the 70s.
Yes.
And Come Together. So yeah, it's just so powerful, but yet a lot of people overlook this because it's, and there's also a lot of cynicism in our world. So it's like a lot of people are like, if you smile at somebody would think, oh, you're trying to pick them up, or,
Right.
there's like, some people think it's weird, but it's, I think also because of the pandemic that we just went through,
Yes.
there's a lot more color. Like I see in fashion, like there's more, because color bright colors are cheerful and uplifting. You know, and in New York, like, you know, there's so much black, you know, like in the 90s, like remember in the 90s, everybody wore black in New York City.
And I'm a black wearer. I wear it all the
I
time.
know it's okay. It's okay. It's all
But I
right.
try to add color. I try to add color.
You can add a
I
little
add
bit of,
color
you can do some
color to my face.
accents.
Yeah,
You can
color to my face. But
Yeah.
but it is true. And but color, I mean, there's a whole thing of color therapy. And
Right.
you know, and colors in fashion and fashion therapy, because it's how everything makes you feel.
Right.
So
The thing is that in the 90s, like everyone was wearing black. And I just like one day, just like I always love wigs. So I went and got a turquoise wig. And then I was making hats, and I'm like making these outrageous hats with colors and tails and all this stuff. And I'm wearing all these colors all of a sudden. Now it got me a lot of publicity. I was on Good Day New York like 4 times. And then I was like a big article in the New York Times. I had all this publicity. But that's not why I did it, just because I wanted to. I just felt like, I guess I was depressed and needed to be uplifted myself. And I'm not saying I never wear black. I do wear black occasionally, and I do add, you know, color with it. But and I love black too. But I just gravitated to color, and then it just kind of, you know, I'm still a color person, and it just makes me feel happier, you know, and it uplifts others too.
well, it evokes emotion, right? Evokes emotion.
Yeah. I mean, either some people think I'm crazy, or they totally get it and are inspired by the originality that I express in color and fun. Because it's all about.
Oh, and I always love the outfits. I always love the outfits, the patterns, the
Thanks.
colors. Yeah.
Well, to me, it's like getting dressed is just another piece of, it's like it's art to me. I'm just creating.
Mhm.
And so to me, it's just fun. Like, why be a carbon copy of everyone else? Like, you know.
Right.
So
Right. You have to be your authentic self.
yeah. I mean, I do. I feel like I feel like I need to. That's why. And sometimes, you know, when I get depressed or feel kind of down, I look at my dolls and I'm like, you know, you're kind of cute, you know. I mean, look how cute she is. This is from one of my outfits. This is from Robbie Quinn, who has this book, Street Unicorns. He's a well-known photographer. Anyway, this is based on a photo he did of me in the village.
Yes.
And she cute. So anyway, my doll's a reminder of, sometimes I'm like, okay, you are kind of cute. You like do express a lot of joy and fun. And here's my latest doll, but she's not from me, but I found her in London in a children's shop. She's a pin.
Oh, a pin. Oh, how lovely.
She's a pin. Isn't she cute?
Yeah. So
and she has a big smile.
Yes.
I just love her so much. So she sits on my other doll's lap. Now, this is my doll who's my conservative version of me. Because I grew up like having to dress, you know, conservative.
Oh, look at that.
And this is like when I got married, this is my wedding dress.
Oh, wow.
And that's me with auburn hair. So she matches. She sits on her lap.
Yes.
But that is me too. Other version of me. I can dress really conservative chic too.
So now you're very busy. So you're still creating hats. And now, of course, since we're completely out of lockdown, things are better. Now you're going to be having shows, actual live shows in theaters.
Yeah.
So what else is going on right now? What else? I mean, I know you're so busy, your show, you're interviewing people. Well,
I'm been busy with interviews, which I really enjoy. I really, really love interviewing people. But also sometimes I do like the last week, I think you saw, sometimes I'll do a solo show online too, like a short little 20-minute thing. Yeah, because I had to move somebody till next week. I mean, Eric Person, who's a legendary saxophonist.
Yes, because I know there's a lot of musicians. Well, that's how I got Richard. I saw Richard Barone on your show,
Richard Barone.
And I bought his book because it was so fascinating.
You read it yet?
I started to read it. Yes,
that's an amazing book. Yeah, it's so great. I mean, you learn so much about it's called Music Plus Revolution, music from the Greenwich Village in the 60s. So you learn, like, every page is like amazing. You learn so much.
Right. It's like it's history. It's history. And
it is. Well, it's in colleges. It's being, you know, the colleges are buying it for it's so much research. It's so incredible.
Yeah, so I always love and Sue Kreitzman too. I saw the interview with her and her work. I mean, and so I always love watching your shows.
I enjoy it because I know a lot of interesting people. So it's just, you know, I know a lot of musicians, and you know, I just really enjoy diving into other people's lives and promoting them and stuff. So as you know, it's a joy. It's very joyful to do.
Yeah, well, it is. It's wonderful to speak with people and hear
it is, isn't it?
Them
to
And
find out what they're, they're all
yes,
the amazing things they're doing. I know it's really neat. So yeah, so I'm doing that, and I'm learning. John Cruth is now. We're doing it. I'm making him a hat, and he's teaching me guitar, my ukulele. I moved from another anyway, so I'm working on my music
yeah.
and for my show,
Yeah.
and
And
he's an amazing.
you were singing with others on the sloop, right? Where you were in it, there was a video. You were also
Oh
singing.
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. I'm in that. I'm in that video. Richard Brown produced this. God's counting on me. God's counting on you with Pete's
Yes, it was a
song.
beautiful song.
Yeah, it's a beautiful song. Good message. A beautiful message. And yes, I'm in that video. It's had like 200,000 views. We did that he did it like I don't know 2010. I think it was 2010.
Yeah, and that was a ship that was on the Hudson River.
Yeah, the Clearwater. Yeah, so that was a historical day.
Mhm.
They filmed that, and he produced the whole thing. Yeah, he stated him and Matthew. What's his last name? The sound person Matthew. They stayed at our house the night before because we did it in Beacon when it was docked, the Clearwater. Yeah, that was
That
a
was a
great
beautiful
video.
song. It was a
It's a
great
and the
video.
video's amazing too.
Yes, yes. The video was
Top
great.
filmmaker filmed that. Damian Drake. Yeah, it was a great filming, everything. So yeah, that was exciting. And so yeah, I've been a part of some really interesting projects over the
Yes.
years. And yeah, so I'm let's see what else. I'm helping a friend, an elder friend. So I do that. I'm doing that too. And a friend of mine, so she's needs some help. So I'm helping her too. And I'm a big baker. I don't know if you know that.
Oh
I
no, I
love to
didn't know.
bake. I mean, this is just a fun, it's just a hobby that I do, but I really enjoy it. It's something I do to bring joy to because people love the way I bake. So it's like, I used to sell the baked goods a little bit, but I just do it to, as gifts. So it's just something that brings joy to other people.
Oh, that's lovely.
And I have this giant gecko. She's like a huge, I don't know if you've seen it. I should have the picture. We ended up in the Daily News, page 3 in 2019. I have this huge gecko, a stuffed gecko, and she's
Oh,
like 3 feet tall. And I dress her up in like tutus and everything. And so
oh wow.
I've
Oh,
run around. Yeah.
I didn't did you have her in the picture of the tutus with the little kids? You did
Yeah.
have,
Yeah. You've seen that?
yes, yes.
Yeah.
There was I saw
That was the
it was
first time
it was a photo shoot of I did see she's very large. I saw it.
Yeah, yeah, she was. Yeah, well, I got her in a
Everyone was in
thrift
the
shop.
tutus, right?
Yeah, I got her in a thrift shop, and one day I was doing this children's show in Cold Spring, and this woman, I don't know, this woman gave me like all these costumes, and it's like there were 3 tutus in there, and I just threw a tutu on her, and it's like the kids went crazy over her. So it's like ever since then, like I've done a lot of things with her over the years, and I brought her to the city, and we ended up on the being photographed in the Daily News. Ended up page 3, and so I've run around New York at certain times with her just to bring joy and smiles to people.
And the
And
shoot
one
was
time,
great. The photo shoot was great. All the kids were in tutus as well, bright, vibrant colors. It was lovely.
yeah.
In the
So
picture.
anyway, so these are like my projects that go with my mission. Okay, so one day I went. It was like Christmas Eve, I think 2019. And I went, okay, I'm going to the city to help people smile, right? So I'm running around Fifth Avenue with her, and she's huge, and people are walking by, smiling and everything. Then I go into Saks Fifth Avenue, and I'm walking up and down up and down the flights, different levels. And that's the people in the store. They were like, the people who work there were like, oh my God, you're amazing. This is incredible. They loved that I brought her. And it was Christmas Eve. And I went to the children's department, and all these kids were like going crazy. And then, no, it was so much fun. So I don't know. It's just things that I do sometimes just to help people smile.
Yeah, because you're always out there.
But
Smiles, right? Spreading
she's
smiles, spreading
special.
cheer.
And then I have Gumby. She's like one of my
Yes. And
But-
Gumby I've seen.
Gumby is like always has a smile and a hug. And so I just do all these things, and it's just I don't know. It's just what I do.
Well, you're
And,
forever spreading your message.
it's my mission, and it's all connected to my dad.
Mhm,
And it was such a gift that he gave me that smile,
mhm,
and he was a week away from his passing, and and he didn't smile very much
mhm.
because he had a terrible tragedy as a child, which he really never affected him so terribly, which affected me.
Mhm.
So it's just kind of all this joy that came out of all this tragedy
And all
is
the joy that's
really,
spreading to other people because
and
you're
now
putting
spreading it.
energy
And
in
it's all
it.
connected to my dad. And the cool thing is that when I did my show in London, it was on my dad's birthday,
Oh, how lovely.
but I didn't plan it. It was like, I told my stepmother, she's like, oh my God, it was meant to be. I mean, it was like, I did not plan it. It just happened. Isn't that neat?
No, it is. It's wonderful.
It was really cool.
Yeah. And
So, yeah, so I'm, what am I doing? I don't know. I'm like promoting my show online, my inner, it's a lot of work doing, as
Mhm.
doing an interview show, but I really enjoy doing it. And then my other show, I'm working on that with new stories. I'm still working on that with, so.
So you're always busy. Yes.
And I do the hat happening as part of my new show. I do this hat show that I've done for years, but now I can get back into it because it's interactive. I put it's kind of like, how kids love to dress up.
Yes.
So it's really a extension of that. And the child within still wants to play.
Yes.
And so, and that's why Halloween's so popular. It's like, okay, so I put hats on people's heads. I bring funky sunglasses and wigs, and I dress people up.
Oh, we'll have to put this in the in the comments where that people can go and see those shows, because that really is, it's entertainment, but it's really a release, isn't it? Like the child within to dress up, or giving ourselves permission.
Right.
Dress up.
Exactly. And that's what I do in the hat happening. I need to start doing more of those because I can see that it's just like, it really is a release, and it's like, so you're in the moment, and it's just pure fun. And that's the thing. We need more fun in the world.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, we do.
And that's what the hat happening is, just pure fun. If you see the photos from London.
Yes.
How I dressed everybody up at the end.
Yes. Yeah.
It's just it's a gas. It's just a blast.
Yeah. It's surely is wonderful. It's to enjoy yourself, purely enjoy yourself and have a good time.
Yeah.
And I just thank you so much for being on the show. I thank you so much for talking to our audience here. I definitely want to let them know where all your shows are. In addition to your interviews, I'll definitely post that so people can see the interviews, can hear all this wonderful information, all this history in the making, really, with all the great guests that you have. And definitely, I myself want to come to the hat show. I mean, I love the hats you make; they're beautiful, and so I would definitely love to come to one of the hat shows.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, that'd be great.
That would be perfect. I would love to see your one woman act as well for the Smile Revolution.
Yeah, it's called Woodstock or Bust, how a hat designer started a revolution.
Yeah.
It's based on my girlfriend Jane Applegate, who's a film producer, and she has this amazing, if you haven't seen the show, I interviewed her recently. She has this project called Remarkable Women Project. And
that show I didn't see. No.
Oh, you got to.
She's
amazing. They're featuring women in the past who didn't get the publicity because men were always, got the accolades and everything, the fame on what they were doing. So it's a whole team of film producers and screenwriters and directors involved. And they're doing all this research and highlighting women in the past who did all these, like the women who invented the bra and women who invented this, all these different things. And so they're highlighting them. It's a blog, and it's going to be they want it to be a TV show. They're working on getting it to be a TV series, and then it's going to be a book. And they're also highlighting remarkable women in present day as well.
Oh, I definitely have to see.
It's a huge thing that they're doing. It's just starting. It's just launching, and it's going to be huge. And it's so needed. It's the right time for this project. So you should definitely check it out. It's Jane
definitely.
Applegate.
Because what I did see was one of the women that you had on recently that was so fortunate to have documentation from her great grandmother.
Oh yeah, Violet Snow.
Right. Yes, Violet Snow.
Violet Snow. Oh, that's another whole.
Wonderful.
I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah, incredible.
And that book is called To March or to Marry, and it's incredible. It's about the early 1900s. Her great grandmother left her all these letters and pictures, which is incredible.
Yes.
And it's all about the women's clubs of the early 1900s that were huge, that I never heard of, and a lot of people she never even knew about them either. and there were millions of women in these women's clubs. And then there was the suffragettes.
Yes, which
And
was,
there were-
that was interesting because recently I've been to the museum for the suffragettes, and I knew that they had women who dealt with that and had these meetings in their homes, but it was very interesting because the other women's clubs didn't really touch on that, even though it was going on in history.
Yeah, they didn't like to
so
talk about it.
interesting.
No,
Yeah,
it was like
it's so
they were like
interesting.
they were like more middle class, and they were very more conservative, but yet they were doing all these amazing things too. And they were learning how
Yes,
to talk and do speeches, and they were doing a lot of great things, but they weren't really into the suffragette. They
right,
weren't
right,
marching, and they were like, they wouldn't bring it up
right.
because the suffragettes were too radical.
And that was a very good interview. So
Yeah, so that was
I'm
really
waiting to see,
interesting.
and I'll definitely have to see this other one
They're
now.
remarkable women. Yeah, Jane
Yeah.
Applegate. Yeah. So yeah, it's amazing. So anyway, so yeah, so now there's a lot of interesting.
Mhm.
It's so interesting to learn more about all these things that are going on in these books and
Yes.
musicians. So anyway, so thank you so much for having me. I
Oh,
really
once
appreciate
again,
it.
thank you. Our audience thanks you. It's always interesting. I hope that they get to see some of your YouTube channel show, because really a lot of information is wonderful. I will definitely put all the links in, and
Thank you.
hopefully you can come by again sometime when you're free. I know you're busy all the time, you work often, but
I'm always happy to do an interview. I'm always interviewing people, so it's fun to be on the other side.
and I do thank you, and hope to speak with you soon, and hope to see one or two of the shows
Yeah,
soon.
that'd be great. Okay, well, thank you so much.
Thank
I
you
really
so much.
appreciate this.
Princess
Okay.
Wow again, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye now.
Okay, bye-bye.